What's up, Crossroads? Man, I'm glad to be with you today. Thank you for the messages yesterday. Thank you for viewing the video. Just trying to find a way that we can reach out to each other. We can give you a little words of encouragement. And today, what I want to talk to you about real quick, it's going to be fast because I told you I'm going to make this quick, so I'm going to make this quick. So listen really fast. So I want to talk to you just for a minute, real briefly, about habits. You know, one of the things that we realize about habits is they usually start as just something that you want to try. And a lot of times the things that we just want to try ends up becoming something that's not really good for us. We talked a couple of months ago about trends, things that are popular. And of course, we related that to the, it's not smoking, what's that stuff called? Vaping. We talked about vaping and how that became a trend that folks were wanting to do, and then they find themselves doing it, not realizing the damage it's going to do along the way. It's kind of like when you're riding a bicycle. Who's on my phone? When you're riding a bicycle and you hit that jump and you're like, man, this is going to be so awesome. And you hit that jump and you're up in the middle of the air and you're like, oh, because you got to land. You didn't think about that landing. And the same thing in our lives. A lot of times when we jump into one of those trends, that trend unfortunately becomes a habit. There are good trends and there are bad trends. And what I want to talk to you today about is getting in a good habit. One of the hardest things for us to do when we don't have anything we have to do is to actually do anything. I mean, I don't think I'm the only one that gets lazy from the time to time, right? I read somebody's post the other day, and they were talking about, oh, first day of homeschool. I guess that would have been yesterday. First day of homeschool, and they talked about how their kid was still in bed. And it was like 11:30 or 12 in the morning, so it was like lunchtime, and they were still in bed. And we had a discussion with the boys. Sorry, man, I'm going to throw you under the bus. Last Sunday night, and I told them, I said, hey, you're not sleeping all day. You're getting up at 7 o'clock. You're going to have a routine. Routines are important for us to get accustomed to. At some point, you're going to bounce back to school, and you've got to be in that routine of going to bed when you need to go to bed and getting up when you need to get up. And parents, that's your responsibility. I know your kid might be like, well, I'm supposed to stay up a little bit later. Hey, it's your kid, but I'll tell you this. Life is easier when people find rest. I can't tell you how many parents I've talked to, how many students I've talked to throughout the school year that talked about how exhausted they were. But when they find that time to rest, they find themselves refreshed. And life is easier when you're feeling better. One of the habits that I want to talk to you about very briefly is the time that you spend with God. One of the things, I was in a discussion, I was in a Zoom. What up, Zoom, man? I was in a Zoom meeting earlier, and we were talking about, you know, the difficulty of finding time to spend with God because our lives get so busy. But now, as we said yesterday, Psalms, 46:10 says to be still and know that I'm God. God has caused us to be still. And it's going to sound bad, but what else do you have to do? Why not spend some time with God? One of the guys I was talking with, he said he talked to his students like, how much time have you spent on social media? And this one girl was like, I spent 13 hours on social media. 13 hours. And then he said, so how much time did you spend with God? And she was like, you be stepping on my toes. He's like, well, go on, get your steel-toe boots out because it's about to get harder. He didn't say that. That's what I would have said. We've got this time that we can spend with God. But for some of us, we don't really know exactly how to do that. So what I want us to do for the next 6 days, we've got a devotion through YouVersion. If you're watching this on your phone, you can download YouVersion. If you're watching this over a computer, you can download YouVersion. And here's the beautiful thing about this. This is something you can do as a family. Parents, I want to lean into you and ask you to make sure that you are setting the example, doing a quiet time daily, and your kids are as well. And it's awkward at times. And I'm not asking you to all just go sit in a circle somewhere and go, let's read the scripture today. Hallelujah. I'm not asking you to do that. But when you are all doing the same devotion, then you're able to have this communication about, man, when it said this, what did that mean? So here's what we're going to do. I've got this devotion that I pulled up this morning that I want us to do for the next 6 days. Here it is. So this is a devotion that comes from YouVersion, and it's about anxiety. And I want us to do this devotion, and each day when I send you your little message, it might have something about what we read the day before. But I believe this is something that God has put in our lives for this season. The things that cause us anxiety, the things that kind of pin us up. So that's what we're wanting to do. So I want to give you some words of encouragement. God tells us in his word, when he's talking about the model prayer, when the disciples came to him and said, teach us how to pray, and he gave them the model prayer. He said, and part of that prayer was, give us this day our daily bread. And we talked about this several months ago, how important it was that Jesus said to give us this day our daily bread. You remember when the Israelites, when they were in the wilderness, and God told them to collect the food that they would need for the day. Not that they were to stockpile, that they were to collect just what they needed for the day. And that way, every day they had to go back and get that food. Same thing with the Word of God. Every day you need to be going to get the Word of God so it can nourish you, so it can strengthen you, so it can guide you. And so this is very important that we're spending time daily with God. So I want to encourage you. That picture that was up just a minute ago, if you need to rewind it, rewind the video so you can see what, I don't guess you rewind, you just kind of slide that thing. Anyway, if you need to go back and see what it is again, it's going to be right there. Matter of fact, I'll put it at the end of the video. Do this devotion with us. And at the end of 6 days, we're going to bounce with another one. Crossroads, I love you. I'm excited about what guys do. Oh. So last night, I asked you if you would send me some ideas of what you thought this time should be. And I ain't going to lie to you, man. Creative ideas. Probably one of my favorite ones was quarantine devotion or something like it. It was like quarantine, but when I first read it, I thought it said Quran. And I was like, man, we don't do the Quran up in here. But lots of great ones. But Snoop, I'm calling you out, bruh. And a lot of y'all don't even know who Snoop is, but he knows who he is. Snoop, you came with it, man. Crossroads to Go. This segment each day or every day that I'm able to do it is going to be called Crossroads to Go. And we want you to be involved with it. The biggest thing that jumped out at me about that thought of Crossroads to Go is God told us to go and make disciples. We've been talking about all year about becoming a disciple that makes a disciple. In this time when you're separated, what better time to become a better disciple? So when the time comes and we're released and we're able to get back to what is relatively normal life, you'll have the tools that you need. Crossroads to Go. Be sure to check Remind. I'll be sending you those messages. They'll be posted to our YouTube channel. And man, this is just a way that we can reach out and give you some words of encouragement. Crossroads, I love you. I'm praying for you. And I look forward to seeing how God moves in your lives. See ya.